Dum-datski-takum, 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 dum-datski-takum.
And then, as I was researching, I got new heroes now. These new heroes are heroes that I didn't know about because I was never taught about them. Heroes that were Maroons. You know, Maroons. People that, you know, when we talk about slaves in Latin America, the image that they taught us is the image of these people that are very hopeless, that are chained. Well, it wasn't like that. There were people that stood up to the Spaniards, to the French, to the English, and they fought them back, and they formed their own communities, and they made alliances with indigenous people, and there was indigenous people and black people fighting alongside against the oppressor. And so we say, we need to find a palenque. A palenque is a quilombo. In what Brazilians call a quilombo. It's a palenque in Spanish. And the palenque is the place that African runaways went and formed in the jungle, and they knew how to form defense mechanisms, and they kept on worshipping their gods and doing their rituals of initiation, and they kept on their culture. And the indigenous people united them, and they fought alongside. So I say, we need to bring these whole alliances back, because we've been divided. The constitution in Colombia started recognizing ethnicity, and everyone was really happy. Wow, now we've been recognized as black people, now we've been recognized as indigenous people. But what they're doing, they're dividing us. They're saying, you're black, you are mestizo, you are peasant. And so what they're doing, they're dividing us, because at the end of the day, you know, we are all humans, and that's the bottom line. We all come from Africa, even if people don't like it, that's the truth. You know, we all come from there. So this is what we try to do. So we found a palenque. This guy there, Don Nicolas, is a wadua. Wadua is a species of bamboo. He's a wadua building technician, and he's helping us build the Maloka in traditional ways from wadua. That guy, his grandfather, was a runaway prince from Loro Island who formed different palenques in the Cauca area of Colombia. I'm talking about 1920s, 1910s, when there was still slavery going on in Colombia. Yeah, these people, grandparents and great-grandparents, were all slaves, and I found them, and they found me, and we started working together. And the rappers, some of them are rappers. They got rap bands, political rap bands, not shit like MTV stuff. Really political stuff where they reflect about the situations, and then they actually speak it out through their music. And there's something very interesting that I haven't seen other rappers do, which they do. They use theater within before they start their concerts, they do a whole theatrical performance, and then it develops into the rap. And they bring their roots back from Africa, you know, the indigenous roots, because they recognize that they have also been influenced by the indigenous people over there. So that is very exciting. And we've been doing projects together. We're working together. They're also part. This is called the Palenque of Villarrica. They came to the Maloka, and we have something that we term Maloka Palenque United. So it was like uniting this concept. And they're very aware of what a Palenque is and what a Maloka is. Not like just fancy concepts. It's actually political stuff going on there. So, but what is the kind of, in the local community that we were working with, when we came, we found lots of division. We found lots of gossiping among the people. And we started, even one of the biggest questions that I asked myself was what it meant to be Colombian. I was struggling with, who the fuck am I? You know, what it meant to be a Colombian when Colombia was something that was created 200 years ago. You know, it didn't exist. There was no barriers. People didn't believe in that kind of stuff. Now everyone just have a flag, and they say, you know, I'm Colombian, and I eat frijoles, beans, and arepa, cornbread, and I shoot a fucking gun. Well, that is not synonymous of Colombian for me. You know, when I came to this community, people there were actually divided because there has been a very heavy presence of paramilitary groups and guerrilla groups as well. And unfortunately, you know, guerrilla groups in Colombia, somehow they lost their way because of the bloody coca trade, you know, and there's lots of political interest in there. I wish there was a real guerrilla movement so I could join it, but there is not. They're all corrupt, the same as the paramilitary. They work together. I know it because I know how it is. You know, they tell each other where the people are, and they go and take it out. When I came to this community, the people there, they were descendants of Paez people, Nazas. The Nazas, the indigenous people, they were descendants from these people. They all were related to one another like a big tribe, but they had all these conflicts among them because their social net, their social weaving was broken down completely. There was no there was no like trust among each other. So we have started to work with this. It was difficult to get people talking about, even to ask their names. People wouldn't tell you because so we started using people circle, games, theater, dance, percussion, all the different means we have, and we managed to get something going there. And people got motivated, and we got to work with in running the aqueduct. I never knew about aqueducts, and I got into running an aqueduct with people, and we fixed it. Because over there, the aqueducts have to be run by the people, not by the government. And we run the school, and we run the communal house as well, because there is a communal house there, and we do parties for the elderly group, and the whole thing. So it was very interesting to get that, but there was also problems. Just now, there is a multinational called Smurfy Kappa Cartón de Colombia. Smurfy Kappa, watch out for that name. Smurfy Kappa is a logging company. Yeah? Logging, that's it, logging company. They cut trees. They plant trees, and then they cut them down. And they went and planted, just in the area I live, they planted 5,000 hectares of land on pine. Do you know what pine is? Pine is a northern European tree that drinks about 30 liters of water a day. So, when I came to London, I was very upset because I didn't realize this before. When you get off the bus, when you get off the underground, what you get given? All these bullets, all these newspapers that are actually free newspapers, magazines, they're being made with the trees that they're planting over there where I live, and those trees are draining our water source. Remember I said that we have to run our own aqueduct? Well, our own aqueduct is reducing now because the trees are getting bigger. And they're doing this just in the area where I live is 5,000 hectares. In Colombia alone, it's millions of hectares. It's unbelievably how many pines they have. And they're doing this stuff, they're destroying the environment so that people in Europe can have free newspapers. And all the rubbish that you get through the post box that most of the time you throw away. Because you don't even read it. I do that all the time. You just go like, oh my God, so many leaflets. Well, they're doing it this way. Smurfy Kappa also poison the community by giving them little handouts. So they will give them workshops. One example, one ridiculous example. I used to go to hijack all their meetings with the community because I didn't have it. I went, and they were talking about education to the people, and they were educating the people and the whole thing, and they were actually giving people workshops on lactose, on how to make lactose products like yogurts and stuff like that. And then one of my biggest questions, most of these people don't have land.
Where are the cows?
What the fuck are the cows, exactly? Where are the cows? Why are you teaching these people to do lactose if there is no cows?
100,000 pounds.
And they're doing this. By doing these little workshops, they're buying people into believing that they're doing something good for them. It's really sick. It's sickening, really. And then they bring all these workshops of motivation. They are very patronizing. I mean, you have to see it. This is why I want to invite you to come to the Maloka. Now I'm going to tell you what the Maloka is doing. The Maloka is thinking and...
Hey,